Good Moment Baseball Universe. Once again, back is the incredible Backwards K, where we collect ball players and their stories. It's your boy, half man, half podcast machine, Jake the Snake Robinson out of Paulie's out in South Carolina. Hi, it's off the Robinson Gearing Studio Complex. We got a little double dip going here. Hopefully you guys were able to capitalize on our little 2-hour intermission after the Ken Singleton interview. Hopefully you got some popcorn and some ice cream, but you didn't load up on too many carbs. I actually got a big plate of lasagna staring at me. I wanted to stay off of it because I want to keep my energy up for my next guest. I want you to grab a seat and listen to my next guest. He was kind of like a shooting star that blasted across the Mets universe, became one of the most popular players in the franchise's history. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my absolute honor to welcome in from beautiful Hawaii, Mr. Benny Agbayani. Mr. Agbayani, aloha, sir.
Aloha.
How are you, my friend? Where in Hawaii are you calling me? Are you calling me from today?
I'm in Honolulu, Hawaii.
Oh, and how beautiful of a day is it today? Of course.
It's a beautiful day today. It's nice and breezy, but we got some sun out here, so it's pretty good weather.
It's always a beautiful day in Hawaii somewhere, right?
Yeah, it is.
Now, Benny, whenever I do these deep dive interviews, I do my homework and I do my serious research, and I didn't find a lot about your childhood, and which was kind of good because I kind of want to start there. You were born in Honolulu. Tell me about your parents. Did you have brothers and sisters? And were you like a sports family? Tell me a little bit about your childhood.
Yeah, I grew up. I have an older brother and I have a younger brother, so I'm the middle child. And we grew up kind of. It was a good childhood. It was pretty rough. My parents were just mediocre parents, just working all the time. And
right.
As I grew up, I actually they signed me up for soccer first, and I started playing soccer, and then I got into baseball, and then I got into football, and I just had a pretty good childhood growing up there in Hawaii.
And were you like one of those kids that always had a ball in your hand, or you're kicking a soccer ball, or you got a glove in your hand?
Yeah, I was. I was always at the park, and where my house was, we lived by high school, so I was always up there, just playing around and, enjoying what I was doing.
Gotcha. And your mother once said that you represent a melange of the various cultures and races of Hawaii. She even called you chop suey, which kind of tickled me. Well, what did she mean when she said that about you? Explain your background to all of us ignorant mainlanders, so to say.
When they put chop suey in there's a different variety of nationalities. So, my last name is Agbayani, so Filipino, and my dad was Filipino Chinese, and my mom is, she's Hawaiian, Portuguese, Samoan. She got all the race.
Gotcha.
All the races. So she knows,
right.
And, it's like, me and my older brother, we more look like our dad, and then my younger brother looks like my mom. So,
okay.
But we're all related.
Let me ask you, and this is going to sound like a crazy question, but were you a pro wrestling fan when you were a kid?
Yeah, I was.
I had a feeling you were. First of all, you kind of look like a pro wrestler. In fact, I could have been your manager. We could have probably made some cheddar, Betty. I'm just letting you know, if you ever want to think about it, I got you. You got the look, I got the mouth. I'm saying there's something there. But I had a feeling that you were a pro wrestling fan, and once you said Samoan, I was absolutely in there. Real crazy. Who were some of the wrestlers that you liked?
There was a guy that when I was growing up, his name was Jimmy Fly Snuka, and my father actually played softball with him, man.
Okay.
He was a very popular guy out here. And then, the Rock's grandpa, Peter Maivia,
sure.
They're really popular out here in Hawaii. That wrestling, it was, one of a kind out here.
I can just picture you and your brother in these, classic wrestling matches. For some reason, I can just totally picture. Now, apparently, a coach discovered you throwing a ball in your yard when you're 7 years old. Tell us the story. What is this about?
I live on a main street, so, one day I was just outside playing, and I was kicking the soccer ball, and then I ended up, throwing a football, and and then an old man just came over, and he stopped over, and he asked me over the fence. He said, "Hey, son, you want to play baseball?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess. I don't know." And I ran into the house and I got my dad, and my dad ended up talking to him, and that year. That couple of days later, I was playing, and I was like the youngest kid on the team. I think during that time, I think my dad then had to sign a waiver saying, since I was young, that I would be able to play with the older kids.
Right, and you said you played football. What position did you play in football?
I know you're gonna laugh, but I played wide receiver.
Good Lord, man! You had that kind of foot speed?
Yeah, I thought I did, but I ended up playing baseball, so,
That's funny. So, but for real though, you were like one of the best wide receivers in Hawaii history. Didn't you set like records? I know you set baseball records in Hawaii, but you were pretty good wide receiver actually.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was a lot of, I played at one of the popular schools out here in St. Louis, and, we're one of the top-ranked teams out here in Hawaii, and, you really have to learn the game, especially, playing under the Lee brothers, and, they were very helpful, and as I learned the game, I enjoyed it a lot.
Right. So, now, I heard one of the biggest influence in your sport life was your Aunt Susan Miller. How was she influential in your sports life?
She was actually the one that, really trained us. So, me and my younger brother, so, we did some crazy stuff with her, but, when it came to training, she really hopped on us and, made us the best.
She was a tough military kind of drill instructor kind of deal, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was.
And she used to run you guys to death, I heard. She used to run you up and down hills. I mean, that's funny, man.
Yeah, we were pushing, I remember pushing cars, and some of my friends would see me, pushing her car up the hill, on a flat to the hill, and they're all laughing.
You know what it sounds like to me? Did you ever see the movie about the Jamaican bobsled team, Cool Runnings?
Yes.
And they're like coming up with ideas how to make these bobsleds. It kind of sounds like you're like pushing cars all over hills and stuff. Like, what are they training these Agbayani kids for? That's so funny. So she was very big in your life, right?
Yes.
Right on. And going back to the football thing, what is actually your favorite football team? What is your favorite football team?
My favorite football team is the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay. And are the 49ers big in Hawaii? What would you say is Hawaii's football team?
Between the Dallas Cowboys and the LA Raiders.
Okay, yeah, the Cowboys are huge wherever they go. And I guess so are the Raiders, too. What would be the Major League Baseball team of Hawaii?
It's hard to say. Whatever local kids are playing on the Major League Baseball team, that's where most of the people cheer for.
It would seem like, I'm sure you've probably noticed this, but the Brewers seem to have like a pipeline into Hawaiian baseball town. I mean, they actually brought up Jordan Yamamoto in the beginning. I was wondering if maybe like a lot of kids were wearing Brewers stuff because, they know that's a kind of an end to get off the island and play. Or I would also think maybe the Giants would be a little popular in Hawaii, right?
Yeah, the Giants are pretty popular here in Hawaii.
Okay. Now, after high school, you go to Oregon Tech University. Was this the only college that offered you an offer? Did you have other options?
No, I didn't have an offer. I didn't have other offers. I just took that offer because one of my coaches was going there, and I thought to myself the offer would be so easy because I was going to play football, and they also had baseball at that time. But I think that year, they ended up folding it. So after that year, I played football. I went on. I came home.
And you transferred to Hawaiian Pacific, correct?
Yep.
And by all accounts, you excelled it, like in most sports. That's what I heard. And in fact, I've heard multiple, reading this research and all on you, like coaches who were like, really, he was probably more a football player. But when did it kind of click inside of you that baseball is the way you want to go?
I think, everybody thought I was going to play baseball after high school, but I really enjoyed football.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to give it a shot. And, I thought, hey, that school had two, big football and baseball, so I could play over there. And my coach at Hawaii Pacific University always told me, if you wanted to play baseball, the offer is still here. And, I kind of looked myself in the mirror, and I wasn't that prototype where I was 6'4",
right.
215 pounds.
Yes.
And, so I kind of, thought about it, and, I really wanted to play a professional sport, and, I ended up choosing baseball.
Yeah, and clearly you made the right choice. Now, the Angels draft you in 1992 in the 25th round, and you decided not to sign. I couldn't find out why you didn't sign. Why did you decide to pass that up?
Because I wanted to be a Met. No, I'm just joking.
That's a great answer. And the crowd goes wild after that one. That's a great one.
To tell you the truth, I wasn't really, I played the game of baseball, but I thought I had to learn more about the game. And, there was a lot of things, that, because I just grew up, you just use your talent and you just play, and that's how it was. And I talked to a lot of people, and then, I talked to my coach, and, he just said, whatever decision you make, you can, and I wanted to get closer to my degree, and,
gotcha.
I ended up, going back to school on the first day.
Okay, so, what a really mature way to look at it. And you're, like 20 years old at this time?
Yeah.
That's very, very impressive. So, under the advice of Met scout Jim Woodward, New York takes you in the 30th round of 1993. And I asked all the guys this question. What is draft night like for you after you've been selected? And even though it's in the 30th round, you have a team. How is draft night? What did you do on draft night, first of all?
I had a little party at my house, and just for my relatives, and just it was pretty good. Everyone was excited.
Right.
I was excited because I was hoping I was going to get drafted again, and I thank God I did, because sometimes you play, you roll the dice, and sometimes the outcome might be different. And I just was happy that the Mets took a chance on me.
Sure. And you were drafted in the 25th round the year before, so you got drafted in the 30th round. You might be sweating bullets between rounds 25 and 30, am I correct?
Yeah, I was.
Right. I'm sure you're probably thinking, I wonder if I made the right decision here. Now, by the way, what does a 30th round contract look like as far as a salary is concerned?
You know what? I don't think, I was a junior at that time, so that was way back then, but, it was more like, it's like, you just take the money and you sign and not look back.
Right.
So, it's not as much as you get in the first 5 rounds.
Of course. That's why I'm curious.
The money now is crazy, but, I wish I, got drafted now, but, because this back then, it was like, it was, for me, it was more the opportunity to play.
Sure. But do they give you a signing bonus when you're drafted in the 30th round? Do you get it?
Yeah, they gave me a signing bonus. And
how much was that?
I want to say almost 50, I think.
$50?
Yeah, it was almost like that. After taxes, it was $50.
Right on. So, now, I found out that after your first season of Pro Bowl, I guess in the minors, you go back home to Honolulu, and you play winter ball, and you meet one of my former Oriole heroes growing up, Lenny Sakata. And it's funny, I just spoke to his teammate earlier, Kenny Singleton, and we just shared some Lenny Sakata moments. So, 2 shows in a row tonight, Lenny Sakata made the show, and these young kids in my audience are probably like, who the hell is Len Sakata? But you found Len Sakata, and what kind of influence did you have with a young Manny Agbayani?
Oh, he was a big influence because, I tapped into him because he had a lot of, answers for my questions, and, he kind of, took me by the hand and kind of, grew me to, what to expect and what I needed to do. And, it's just, come from the islands. He really took care of me.
Right.
Worked out together, and it's so funny now because he's helping my son now.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. See, and here's the thing. I've actually been trying to get Mr. Sakata on for the last couple of weeks. I've talked to his wife, Shane, and I told her how big Len Sakata was in my family. So hopefully, maybe if this interview goes well, you can say, hey, man, that Jake the Snake, he's okay, man. So maybe he can put a little bug in his ear. Another thing that I'm curious about when I talk to you guys is your minor league experience. Now, you're away from your beautiful home state of Hawaii. You're now riding buses through these crappy towns like Binghamton, Norfolk, Port St. Lucie, crappy motels. How was your minor league experience? Now, you had a long minor league experience, so does it change? Does it evolve through time? How was it in the beginning, and what do you feel about your minor league experience after, say, year 6?
It was, I kind of look back at it, and, I kind of, it has been shocking to me because, coming from the islands, I live on an island, and now I'm here through all these small towns in the Penn League, and, it's just, I get to the Florida State League, everything's in Florida, then I get to Double A's, Binghamton, New York, I'm all over. I think I've been from the bottom of 95 to the top of 95 south.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
It was amazing. It was a thing I shared with a lot of people how these towns were, and you wouldn't meet. I was surprised of how much people and how much support they gave the minor league baseball teams.
Wow.
And it was crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I live about 20 minutes from the Myrtle Beach Pelicans, which is a Chicago Cubs lower A farm team, and they're nuts. They pack the stadium every week. It's been really weird not having Pelicans games down here this year, but yeah, there is definitely a minor league culture, and most of the guys that I've spoken to, they enjoyed their minor league experience, and they also understood that this is the process to get to where you're trying to go.
Yeah, it is. It is a process. Back when I played, it was a process.
Right.
It's just, and I played in a tough team, New York, and
sure.
New York, they signed big guys with big contracts, and
that's right.
You hardly saw some of the minor leaguers come up and fill in, and I was very fortunate that they took a chance of me going to New York and experiencing what I did.
Yeah.
And that's why I think from that '93 draft, I think I was the only one that was still left at the
wow. And you're a 30th rounder. But here's the thing too that I'm always fascinated about when I think about the minor league system, and especially when you get into the higher AAA, AA, high A ball. It becomes you're trying to win baseball games as a team. You're trying to be a good teammate, but you also have this type A personality where you're trying to make the major league club, and you kind of got to, break a couple hearts to get to where you're going. And I'm sure you're sitting here watching, and again, we go back to this prototype thing. These guys with baseball bodies. And you never quite had that. You didn't have the height. You didn't have all those things, you know what I'm saying? And I think that, especially back then, baseball bodies was a big thing. I don't think it's so much a big thing now. I really think that, do you think that there was like a time in your minor league career where, because you didn't have the so-called baseball body, that you were being held down?
And that's what, I guess the Mets took a chance on because I wasn't that prototype player.
Right.
But I kind of looked at it and I was like, hey, you know what, I'm going to just give the best. And Lenny Sakata is a great example because, a small guy,
yes.
Coming from the islands and, who would have known that he would have been playing for that long in a career, playing second and short. But,
yes.
I mean, you come out and work out with him, he'll just tell you it's all heart. You got to have heart and you got to have the desire to just make it.
You're right, and you're right. He exemplifies heart. I can't tell you how many times in 1979 that kid would come off the bench in a 7th, 8th inning and hit a leadoff double down the left field line to start a rally. I mean, I'm telling you right now, he got screwed he should have got a lot more playing time. Earl didn't quite give him the playing time that he deserved. But, Lenny Sakata is a very interesting person. Now, fortunately for you, you meet another interesting person in Bobby Valentine in AAA Norfolk. Explain your relationship with Bobby to me, and he also introduces you to the Sadahara O leg kick, correct?
Yes, he did. Interesting man. He was like my second dad. He took care of me. He kind of just told me what I needed to actually do to make it.
Right.
And one thing I always remember him telling me is that you gotta be patient and you gotta keep playing hard. You'll get your chance, and once you get your chance, you gotta make the best of it. And that's the advice he gave to me. But he got that solid. I had that leg kick, and back then he was in all the Texas. He had Ruben Sierra, he had all those guys out there, doing that leg kick. And I got with our hitting coach Tom Robinson, and we spent a lot of time watching films in the cages, and it was a tiny mechanism, and he said you're gonna struggle at first, but you gotta keep doing it, and once you get it down, the good things are going to happen.
The funny thing is, when I was a kid, I would always try that leg kick, but I would be horrible on, off-speed pitches. The timing, I just could never understand how you guys get that timing so perfectly. But, hey, you made it work. So, 1994, there's a strike. There's no World Series. That spills over into the next season, into 1995. And during spring training of 1995, you make a decision to be a replacement player. A lot of people outside of New York don't even realize that. And I guess when I look at your minor league career, I get it. I mean, I would kind of feel like I'm not getting a fair shake here. How hard of a decision was it for you to become a replacement player? And did you get any blowback off of that decision?
Yeah, it was very hard, but I didn't know, what was going on. And I think I was on the bubble that year of getting released. And I think they told me that, this would be a good opportunity for you to do it because, we don't know how your career is going to go.
Right.
And, I was, I talked, I came home with, I was on the phone with my parents and, my parents don't know anything about the baseball stuff. So it was more like, just, it was up to me what I wanted to do.
Right.
And, I didn't, at that age, I don't know what's going on and things like that.
Right.
And I didn't want to get released. That's the thing. I wanted to play.
You want to play baseball? I totally get it. I totally get it.
And I didn't want to go. I didn't want to come home, and it was always my dream to make it to the major leagues. And
now, were there players that gave you any blowback off of that decision?
At that time when I made it, no, not too really, not really, but I know a lot of them, where, Rick Reed was a big part of it, so I wasn't a real popular name, so,
right.
I was kind of, they had, I guess, the union and all the players had, people's names that did it, and, I didn't,
And if you had to do that decision all over again, would you still do it?
You know what? I don't think I would have.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
I mean, I think I would have just came back home.
Right.
But at that time, it was a decision where I had to make it like in about 5 minutes. And, it was a hard decision. And, just me being alone out there in Florida, St. Lucie, you gotta do what you gotta do.
I hear you, brother. So in 1997, AAA Norfolk, you hit 310, 11 home runs, 29 stolen bases. It looks like you're gonna make the Mets opening day roster in '98, but you pull a hammy. And how tantalizing is that? I mean, there you are, brother. You're right there. You pull the hammy. I mean, it's got to be crushing. Right?
Yep. Yep. Yeah, it was that was the year I thought, I was coming off a good year, and, I came back home, I started training harder, I did things a little bit different, and I think I should have stayed on my same schedule, and I think I overpushed my body a little bit, and,
right.
Just got a little bit too excited, and, I ended up getting hurt, but, things happen.
Things happen. You're listening to the Let's Talk Baseball Podcast Network, Backwards K, where we collect ball players and their story. I'm having a sit-down, very interesting, captivating discussion with Betty Agbayani. Now, Betty, you're sent back down, but on July 8th, you marry your fiance, and how long have you known your wife?
Well, today's actually our anniversary, so we've been married.
Oh, happy anniversary, my friend.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary.
We've been with each other since my freshman year in college.
Oh, okay. So she's been there through it all. The ups, the downs, the patience, and, you got to make a decision. You decide to be a replacement player. She's been there for everything.
Yep, she has been.
Well, that's awesome. And what's your year now, the anniversary today? What's the anniversary?
This is 22 years.
Oh, man, congratulations and blessings, my friend. And, really,
Thank you.
That's quite an accomplishment. This has been, that just blows me away. That's awesome, man. Happy anniversary. Okay, so you're, like, yo-yoing up and down. The Mets put you on waivers. No one claims you. They make you available in the Rule 5 draft. Nobody's taken. You play winter ball in Mexico. How is winter ball in Mexico, by the way?
It's pretty good.
Is it?
Yeah. It kind of got me, where I could start learning how to hit. You face a lot of different pitchers, and you see a lot of curveballs and things like that. So it was pretty good.
And in '99, you start the year in AAA Norfolk, but Bonilla and Henderson go down with injuries. And does this promotion, does it feel different than any other of the others, or are you just like got the mindset where like nothing's going to change, I got to make the change happen?
Yeah, this was my time, and I just said, I'm going to go up there, relax, and just do my thing.
Did you come out smoking hot, 10 home runs in your first 73 at-bats? I believe that was a rookie, Mets rookie record. By the way, when you see Pete Alonso do what he did last year, I mean, you were hot. That guy was stupid, ridiculous hot, right?
Yeah, he was. I went to New York and watched it play. That guy's unreal.
I mean, he is an animal.
Yeah, he carried that team. And he was just one of those guys where every time he swung the bat, he hit the ball hard.
Oh man, he hits everything hard. You're absolutely right. The Mets faithful, they're falling in love with you. Banging the Jets on the loudspeaker. Fans are chanting your name. There's got to be like a sense of pride back on the island with your family and everything, right? I mean, it's got to be a great time in your life.
Yeah, it was. It was a great time. A lot of, my mom kept on telling me, how much phone calls they were getting.
Right.
It's just, I just told her, hey, I'm glad, I'm representing us and, and enjoy the moment because I'm enjoying it.
That's awesome. And inevitably you cool off, and the cynical nature of doubters, especially New York City, they begin to mumble. But here's the thing that a lot of them didn't understand. You had a cracked bone in your elbow, if I'm not mistaken. And you kept that to yourself, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember how that happened?
No, I don't. I don't know how it happened. It's just, I was getting pains.
Right. If you had to do it over again, and I understand, man, you're cracking the major league roster, you're hitting home runs, you're making it happen. But if you had to do it over again, looking back, would you make a different decision? Would you tell somebody that there's something wrong with your elbow?
No, not really. I just wanted to play.
I got it.
I wouldn't. I just, this was my opportunity. I got setbacks before. And,
that's right.
I was just going to play through this.
I love that about you. And you finished with a 286 average, 14 bombs. That year, you get your first taste of the playoffs. And you come up big in these playoff games. You score the go-ahead run in the 10th inning of Game 6. But Armando Benitez, he couldn't hold it. So the Braves go on to the World Series. And let me ask you something. You got to be honest, because I'm an Orioles fan, and I know a lot about Armando Benitez. Was he the most nail-biting, terrifying closer you ever had to play behind? You can be honest, by the way.
You know what? I know a lot of people said that about him. He came up big. He came up big on a lot of our games.
Right.
And he was just a unique guy.
He was.
He's one of those closers. It was like he's gonna give it his all. He had that mentality where he loses. He wins. And that's how he was.
Right.
And I think that's why he became, the closer, because he he kind of, he took it hard when we lost.
Right.
But on the other hand, I think he knew his job was, if he's going to go down, he's going to go down. If we win, we're going to win.
Right. Well, spring training 2000 comes, and even after putting up those solid numbers with a messed up elbow, you're now in competition with Jay Payton, who's running out of options. Bobby V is Team Agbayani. GM Steve Phillips, he's Team Jay Payton. And, you didn't call us waves in spring training, but you did start thinking about your options, correct?
Yeah.
And, do you request a trade at any point in this?
No, I didn't request a trade. I just was going to battle it out.
Right.
And I knew, Jay Payton was a top round pick. I'm the 30th pick, and he's, the money was invested in him. And,
sure.
It was so funny because we became good friends, and, we talked about it. We sat down, me and Jay, we had dinner and stuff.
Yeah.
And, it was whatever the Mets wanted.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying to you earlier, especially on the minor league level. Like, you become friends with these people. You become teammates. You love these people. You're willing to die for them. You want to do anything you can to help them win. But there's also that competitive edge where, hey, man, we're fighting for the same job here, and this isn't really personal. It's business. And when you're not a pro, it's hard to understand that for some people, I think.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's, and I, coming from the islands, I wasn't like, I didn't understand that until, I started to see it myself. And, now I do. That's why I tell the kids, no, it's a business, yeah.
And it's cutthroat. And it's cutthroat, right?
Yeah, it is.
Right.
Every year that minor league season came, I was always like, oh my God, I hope I don't get released.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And, and my roommates that I stayed with, they got released, and it was like, I couldn't, I lost it because,
I know.
We became close and things like that, and, but
it really is like a fascinating way of life that you guys live as minor league baseball players. Like, I'm so fascinated by the whole thing. I really am. Just the competitiveness, the camaraderie, but, it's just a delicate tightrope that you got to walk there. It's crazy. So, the Mets opened the 2000 season versus the Cubs and the Big Egg, the Tokyo Dome in Japan. You come up with the Grand Slam in the 11th, and Sanahara that son of a right over the center field wall. You look like you were running on air as you were running around the bases, and you had finally made your mark with the New York Mets. And what are you thinking as you run around the bases?
I wasn't thinking anything because, it was like I was the last guy off the bench, and, there's not, you can't look back, there's no one back there. The bases were juiced.
Right.
And, it's like opening day, and, I wanted to make the team. And I wasn't expected to make the team because, I was one of the extra players that Bobby brought along.
Right, and when that ball goes off the bat, do you know it's going right away? Do you feel it in your hands?
Oh, yeah, I kind of felt that it was going to go.
Right. It must be such a great feeling. And you're actually presented like this big Shogun's helmet or something, aren't you?
They give that to the sumo wrestlers when they win the big tournaments. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is this thing?
Do you still have it? Do you still have that?
Yeah, I still have it. The Mets packed it up for me, and I sent it home straight from Japan.
Where does that sit? Like on your living room mantle? Where do you keep that?
I have it still in the box.
Oh, okay.
So,
I'm part Japanese, so I'm fascinated by that kind of stuff, man. I would love to see that helmet one day.
Yeah, I wanted to just take it. I wanted to take it, home with me to New York, but I was like, I better send this home. It might be a little bit closer here.
Well, let me tell you, they should have gave you a samurai sword because you slayed the Cubs that day, quite honestly. Okay, so tell me about your relationship with the Japanese culture. You do go on to form a relationship with the Japanese fans of the game later in your career when you do go to Japan. You love Japan? Like, how was it in Japan? Did your family live with you and all?
Yeah, my family was with me, and I loved it. 6 years there.
Right.
I wish I could have, I wish my body held up to play, a couple more years. And, the culture is almost like Hawaii. And, people ask me about the baseball. The baseball is, it's great out there. The fans are so into it. And, I tell people from Hawaii, if you guys ever, if you guys want to experience, I can't tell you how it is, Japanese baseball, but you need to come to one of the games to experience, what Japanese baseball is all about.
Well, I always hear this rumor, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I always hear this rumor that the Japanese pitchers, a lot of them are unwilling to give in to the Gaijins. They don't want the Americans to beat them, and they will walk you instead of letting you beat them. Did you find that to be true over there?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
really?
Your facts are correct, yeah.
Really? That's crazy. So, August 12th, 2000, you probably know where I'm going with this. You've probably spoken about this play a million times. You probably dream about it in your sleep. When you're on your deathbed, someone is going to ask you about this. The Mets are leading 1-0 over San Francisco. Bases loaded. You catch a fly ball in left field, 1 out, and then what happens?
I give a ball to the kid.
And then you try to take the ball. Well, you do take the ball back, right? Did you take the ball back and throw it back?
Yeah, I took the ball back and I threw the ball in, but it was too late already. And then I think I don't know who it was. It was Scott. I forget who it was playing short. And I know Robin Ventura was laughing at me, and I was like, "Oh my God!" And it was so funny because I was on my knees and I looked up at the scoreboard at Shea Stadium, and I was like, "Okay," I saw 1, so I wasn't paying attention. And,
right.
It was one of those days, and oh my gosh,
it's not like you're the first person that's ever happened to, but when it does happen, it's just like, "Oi," you know what I mean? Like, what's he doing out there? And thankfully, you guys.
That kind of made my mark. So a lot of people,
right.
That's how they remember me.
Exactly. It will keep you relevant. It is your moment in baseball, and long after you're gone, Mr. Agbayani, people are still going to talk about that play. Now, what does Bobby V say to you when you get into the dugout after making that play?
Oh, I looked at him and he started shaking his head. And then after the game, he called me into the office and I was like, "Oh no, my gosh!"
No.
I said, "I hope I don't get sent down." And he goes, "Hey, Benny, I don't know about you guys in Hawaii, but in the United States, if we count 1, 2, 3, so I don't know what you're doing out there."
Too funny, man. And so. Again, you're productive. You've earned your spot. You hit 15 home runs in 2000, and the Mets are in the playoffs again. You make your mark against the San Francisco Giants. You actually get a little payback for that little error right there. 13th inning, 2-2 tie, and a game that has now gone over 5 hours. Aaron Fault is on the mound, and take us through it.
Yeah, I just remember it was my turn and my opportunity to come up, and I just remember everybody on the bench, they were like, "Come on, man, let's go, man, end this thing."
Mm-hmm.
I was just, I just, told myself, "Hey, you know what, I'm going to just put that bat on the ball and look for a pitch where I can just drive and, just try to get, I just wanted it a double because I wanted to get in scoring position."
Mm-hmm.
And, I got a pitch up in the zone and I, got the foul there and, the ball's going, I hit the ball and then, all I saw was Barry Bonds running back and I was like, "Oh no, he's going to catch it." And, and then it went over and, it was one of those things, you never forget because it's one of the big hits.
It is. It really, really is. It's one of the big hits in Mets franchise history. You move on to the NLCS, and again, you're a force versus the Cards. You get a hit in all 5 games, 3 RBIs. And give me your recollection of that series.
Oh my gosh, it's like, that series was, we faced a lot of good pitchers during that series. And the Cardinals was tough.
They were.
But, I think for me and Jay, we're the young guys on the team, and we're just, okay, we're going to just play this game, and then we're going to, this game, and, we just was hoping that, we make it pretty far.
That's awesome. And you do make some waves in the New York press when you say the Mets were going to beat the Yankees in 6 games. I loved it, Betty. I heard you on the Howard Stern show. I thought you were infectious. I was rooting for you all the way to beat the Yankees. Did you get any grief from your teammates over those predictions?
No, I didn't get any grief from them. I think I think they kind of respected me because, I mean, as a young player, what I'm going to say is the Yankees going to beat us.
Exactly.
I mean, I did,
Exactly.
I felt confident about my team, and I wanted to win. And I felt I was hoping my teammates felt the same way, and I think they did. You play in the World Series, you want to win.
Yeah, and it's anybody's ball game, And once you get to the World Series, 7-game series, man, it's anybody's ball game. And you did your thing. You went 5 for 18, 278 in the series. Your 8th inning double off of El Duque. It snapped a 2-2 tie and was the only game that the Mets won in the series. But you come up a little short. And when the series is over, what is your overall feeling about the draining series, the season? How are you able to compartmentalize failure and success?
Just being a young player that year, I was ecstatic, man. It's like, wow, because you play with guys that never went to the World Series, and they've been playing 15, 20 years, and now they get an opportunity. And early on in my career, I get this opportunity to be in the World Series, and it was just an amazing thing.
Right.
And after it was done, I think I slept for a day or so because I was so
right. You were drained, right?
Yeah, it was draining because it's so exciting to see all these movie stars, you see all these rappers, you see everybody there at the games just watching. I mean, New York was just blowing up, and it was one of those things. Yeah, and I was like, I was sharing it with people back home, and I said, wow, you know what? Coming from the islands and you see all this stuff, man, it's like, this is New York. This is the place that never sleeps, and
and if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. That's what they always say.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And 2001, you're continuing to see action, but your power numbers have kind of diminished. By 2002, you're traded to Colorado. Is this like a major shock to you? I mean, just 2 years ago, you're the belle of the ball. You're the toast of New York City.
Yeah, it was a shocking, to me, and it was, one of those, decisions again. I got caught in that, that fraction of where, who they get it, and I got it. It's like, it's like I'm gonna, I got to a point where I just. Got to keep plugging away and see if anybody takes a chance on me.
Right.
Because, I mean, it was kind of upsetting because everybody else got traded after that year when I got traded to Colorado.
Right.
So, sometimes I ask myself, why wasn't me? But, I have no control. I have no control of, your destiny when you're playing unless you sign a multi-year deal. But, nothing's safe,
Yeah, and sometimes that's the hardest thing about baseball is the things that you can't control. And I guess that's all about life, right? I mean, baseball is life, and sometimes the hardest things are the things you just have no control over. The things that are totally beyond you are the hardest things to have to cope with sometime, and it sounds like you were probably in that situation. Now, August, you're waived by Boston. You're waived. Boston picks you up, and you just played 13 games for them. What happened there? Same thing, just a numbers game. It's not quite working out for you.
Yeah, just a numbers game again, and when I was in Boston again, and we're loaded.
Right.
Teams loaded with good players.
Exactly.
You fall into those places, and you got to deal with it.
You should have tried to get a job with the Orioles. They were horrible, brother. You're back in yo-yo mode now. You're in Colorado, Boston, Cincinnati, Kansas City. Finally, your old friend Bobby V, he comes calling you again. What is his plan for you?
He just asked me if I wanted to go to Japan and play. And, I jumped on it right away because I just got tired of, what was happening in the States. And I said, I probably need a change. That this might be the change.
Right.
And, I just, I was in Mexico again playing winter ball. And I just told the owner, I said, hey, I have an opportunity to go to Japan. I got to go.
Right.
I got to take this opportunity. And he said, okay. Because I've been there 3 years already, so I had a good relationship with them.
And I would think kind of that you probably would go over pretty well in Japan. I mean, you have this Polynesian, Hawaiian background. You have the high leg kick, the Sanharo leg kick, so you kind of look like what their players look like when they hit. And I would think you would kind of get, plus you have power, you know what I mean? You have Major League Baseball power, and I think the Japanese love that Major League Baseball power. And so, you enjoyed your time. Now, let me ask you something. That's the Chiba-Lot Marines. That's what the name of the team is called. Where do the Chiba-Lot Marines play at?
They're right, like I tell everybody, they're probably like 15, 20 minutes away from Tokyo Disneyland.
Okay.
So like they're like on our field was like on an ocean park.
Oh, so they're on the Pacific side.
Chiba's known as like a surfing spot out there in Japan.
Gotcha.
But we lived in a town called Makuhari, and that's where we was.
So you probably liked that a lot because it probably reminded you in many ways of Hawaii. A little surf town, and I'm assuming now the Chiba-Lot Marines, is that like a company? Is that like a corporation in Japan or something?
Lotte, it was a gum company. Lotte, they sell gum, they sell chocolates.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they had guns in Japan. That's crazy. All right, interesting. I never knew that. So 2000.
So the owner started selling bubble gum on the streets, and that's he made that big company after that.
Oh, you said bubble gum. I thought you said gum.
Yeah, bubble gum.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me this again. He was selling bubble gum on the streets, and that's how he made
the streets. Yeah.
And that's how he made his fortune, huh?
This big company. Yeah.
Wow.
So we had ice cream, we had all kinds of stuff. So Lotte is a pretty big brand.
Do you like mochi, the Japanese ice cream mochi?
Yeah. I love that.
It's the best, right? It's the best. Everybody in the audience, if you've never heard of mochi, it's Japanese ice cream, and it is to die for. Go out and get some Japanese mochi. Take a little bit of Benny Agbayani here. 2009, Benny moves on, and you retire. Looking back, any regrets in your playing career, other than maybe playing as a scab? Anything else that you would do different?
No.
Right.
There's nothing different.
And, well, you decided to become an educational system at a high school in Oahu. And what was your thinking in taking this path after baseball?
I just wanted to be around kids because I had a pretty good career, and just try to help them. Because a lot of these kids, they don't have both parents. They live with their grandparents, and it's struggling a couple times, and you just talking to them, and a relationship between me and the student, and helping them out, sharing my my background, and and trying to help them get on their feet, and just try to they're not going to become professional athletes, but just become a good citizen and live their life, stay out of prison.
Let me ask you, do you push them like your Aunt Susan did to you? You push them, you run them, you make them run hills and push cars and stuff?
My brother is doing that now with all the kids now and all our residents.
And every time I see my auntie Sue, she has that big smile on her face.
That's awesome, man. That was a great story, man. Your daughters have become quite the softball pitchers themselves under your watch. Why? I played freshman softball until I was like 40 years old. I love it. What have you learned about the game by watching them, and what advice do you emphasize with your daughters? And first of all, it's got to be tough. They missed a whole season of softball, right? I mean, they didn't get to play this year. Are they committed to college or anything like that?
My older one goes to Cal Berkeley now, so she was already verbal. She verbaled her freshman year in high school.
Okay.
And she played in California. They both play in California.
Okay.
They played for the Batbusters in Southern Cal. And,
awesome.
So my older one's at Cal. My other one's going to become a junior, and my son's going to be 8th grade.
Oh, that's awesome. And you established the Myth Foundation. What is the Myth Foundation?
Yeah, one of my good friends, Jackie Buddha, when I started playing, he wanted, to partner with me and started, it stands for motivate yourself to the highest.
Oh,
and that's
okay.
what I was trying to, tell the kids out here. You got, in order to, help yourself out, you got to motivate yourself, not try to help, let people try to do it for you. And, and to establish yourself to become a fresh athlete, you got to do things on your own. And, you can't wait for anybody. You just got to work out and do your thing.
That's right. And that's a very good message to be sending young kids nowadays, I'll tell you. I also read you're a baggage handler for Air Hawaii. Is that correct?
Yeah, I actually did that because, the flights, the benefits of flying would be good because my daughter's playing in California.
Gotcha.
And they're going up every weekend, but, I was on my older brother's pass, but then, I just decided, you know what, I'm just probably going to do it. And, it gives me a good exercise because now, I don't, all I do is coach and, do that. And, I just want to, make sure I keep my weight down.
Right. And it's probably great for, I'm sure you walk through the airport and some guy is wearing a Mets jersey and a hat and just recognizes you and you make their day just by talking to them. I'm sure it happens to you all the time, right?
Yeah, it does. It does. That, we get plenty of the Japan tourists that they, they're out there, they're, asking people who where I'm at and things like that. And it's amazing. It's amazing how much people you can meet at the airport.
Sure, man. You definitely touched a lot of people in your short baseball career. Well, Benny, I really want to thank you for your story. And before I wrap this up, I like to play a game with you that I usually play with the boys that come in here. It's called Who Owned Who. I will say the name of a pitcher. You tell me if he owns you or if you owned him. Okay?
Okay.
For example.
Better not say the Braves pitching staff now.
I purposely left Greg Maddox off the list. That was embarrassing, Benny. All right. For example, Andy Pettit. Did he own you or did you own him?
He owned me.
No, actually, you owned him, brother. 5 for 11,
Oh, okay.
455, 2 doubles, a home run, 3 RBIs, and a walk. So you did pretty good against him.
Okay.
Roy Halladay.
I owned him.
You did.
God bless his heart.
You did.
God bless his heart.
7 for 14, 500 batting average, 2 doubles, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. What was it about Roy Halladay that you were just zoned in when you faced him?
The secret was, and I told Roy this, he said, we came up to mine, we just looked together. That's why I kept on watching him, because he was with the Blue Jays before. And I was with the Mets. Him, Chris Carpenter, they all was with the Blue Jays. So, it was funny, because, he was, I got to face him, throughout my career.
That's funny. Good stuff, good stuff. All right, here's one. Chan Ho Park.
Oh, he owns me.
Oh, God. 0 for 10, 4 Ks. What happened? All right, here's another one. Guillermo Mota.
Guillermo Mota.
Shoot, that was one of my teammates before with the Mets.
Oh, that's right. He was,
Yeah, he was a catcher before.
I think he owns me.
He did. 0 for 8, 2 strikeouts. All right, here's one. Omar Dahl.
Omar Dahl. I think I got him.
You did. You went 11 for 25, 440 average, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, 5 walks. And let's do this one. Here you go. Mike Hampton.
Oh, Happy. That was my teammate too.
Yeah, it was. It was. You had nice bats of him.
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know. Because he was in the Astros. Jeez, that's hard to say. I don't know. Maybe he might owe me.
No, I got you owing him 3 for 9, 333, a double and a walk. But
okay.
You said don't give you a Brave, but let's give you one Brave. Hall of Famer Greg Maddox. 2 for 11, 182. But you did in a home run.
Yeah, I remember that pitch. It was at Shea Stadium, and it was a changeup. That was one person I just wanted to hit a home run after because everyone said how great he was, and all my friends over here was like pressing me, like, you just gotta get one, you just try to hit a home run off of it.
That's right.
And when I did, I said, oh, okay, I just hit one. Hopefully I don't strike out the next 100 times after that.
You'll be able to tell your grandkids that you hit a home run off one of the greatest pitchers that ever lived. Certainly one of the best ones in your era, without no doubt. Benny, I got to thank you, man. This has been a total pleasure. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Maybe I can bring you in sometime down the road, talk some Mets later in the season. I just really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your time. I really, really appreciate you. And mahalo, my friend.
All right, thank you. And, mahalo to all the fans. And thank you, New York.
That's awesome. All right, Benny. I'll send you a text later in the week. Thank you, brother.
Okay. All right, Jake. Aloha, brother.
Aloha.
Take it easy.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And there he goes, fellas. Another interview in the books. And wow, that is just a very inspirational story. I gotta tell you, I've had a great night tonight. We did the Kenny Singleton interview earlier. That's already posted up. I want to thank everybody for the text messages I've received and all the beautiful words that you sent me in the Facebook room. I really, really appreciate it. I do all of this for you because I love you. And, it's been rough. We haven't had baseball. We haven't had content. I'm trying to do the best that I can do to bring content to you guys. And I love you for it, and I want to thank you for being here. We did Kenny Singleton. Brian Belsito and I did an interview with Dane Myers. He is the owner for ImagineSports.com, and he's got a great baseball simulation game. We're going to do some post-production on that interview, and we're going to package that out and get that out to the masses. I'd love to see a couple rooms, a couple leagues, a couple teams get started in this room with this simulation game. It seems really, really cool. All right, I'm Jay Robinson. It's been a long night. Thank you for hanging in there with me. I'm going to take a week off. I've given you 6 ball players in the past 5 weeks. I feel like I've done what I got to do. I love every single body out there. If you see your kid and he's looking bored, take him or her outside and play a game of catch. Thank you for coming out. God bless and good night.